everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Will.
And this is So I'm Watching Andor, Season 2, Episode 10, Make It Stop. Pretty good.
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
It
was pretty contained, which I liked.
I don't see us having, a ton to say about this one. It was, it was interesting that we got so much Luthen now. They waited this long to give us a little bit of backstory on him. And Kleya, really. And it was interesting only now finding out that they've been together for quite as long as they have been. And
we got a little of that smoothing on Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, I hate it.
It was not the worst job they've ever done, but
it's only going to get better and better.
It wasn't my favorite.
No, I just wish they would just put makeup on him and put a different wig or whatever. His haircut even looked kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I got it. I got the point. But anyway, the first thing that happens in the episode is Luthen is meeting with Lonnie.
Yes.
Lonnie's giving him information or letting him know that for the past year, roughly the year between when we last met, he has had access to Dedra's key card but hasn't been using it, and now he has used it. He found a window to use it in, which, the card apparently gives him access to data, and presumably he found out about the Death Star.
He found out about Gorman as well.
Yes.
He told them about
everything related in building up to Gorman.
He told them about kyber crystals. He told them about some sort of thing in Gorman that they were strip mining for.
Yep.
He told them all, and that there was some sort of weapon that Krennic?
Yep.
Yeah, that he's been building. For 10 years, he said, yeah. And so he basically spilled everything under the assumption that he was like, now where are we going?
Yeah.
But that could have been a double cross. And Luthen did not take the bait.
Yep.
He straight up killed Lonnie.
Yeah,
he killed Lonnie. A thoroughfare, a open thoroughfare in daylight.
Yeah, it's tough because you don't know.
Yeah.
Lonnie, even as a viewer, we don't know what to think. I'm inclined to think that Lonnie was doing
legit,
what he felt was good. Yeah.
He was right.
But he was very pushy.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Where are you going? Even before he did try to get out.
Yeah.
In season 1, he was like, I can't be in here. They showed a chunk of it on the previous thing on. So I feel like he was good and he hadn't. I think so too.
But it's the fact that Luthen did said the word Yavin. He was like, well, I can't take the risk. Yeah. So
I feel like he knew that was going to happen.
Lonnie?
No, Luthen.
Oh,
he knew that was going to be the outcome eventually.
Yeah.
And because if he was going to follow through, he would have said another word. It's something that wasn't at risk.
Sure.
Or something that could trap him. But I think he just knew he knows too much about our operation.
Fair.
One way or another, he's just got to go. He also mentions Galen Erso.
He did, yeah.
Which is
Mads Mikkelsen's
character from Rogue One.
Yeah. So we are getting up to speed basically with where Rogue One starts.
Yep.
And so then he had Kleya kind of waiting in the wings, and they go to meet and they exchange all the information, and then he says, "You get out." Presumably
they know they
start going to Yavin.
They know they are for sure burned. Lonnie, that was part of the information that Lonnie gave, is that he was burned, and they're coming for Axis.
Yeah. And so he tells Kleya to leave and just be there for when he follows. And he goes back to destroy the comms and everything at the shop.
Yeah.
I can't decide if that's going to come back or not, because he didn't actually get all of it with that weird stuff.
It's hard to say how much needed to be destroyed, because it just looks like a bunch of coiled wire and magnets and stuff.
Well, it's like a switchboard, kind of. So he's pouring some sort of goop all over it that's burning it. And there's a knock at the door, and it's Dedra.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I love her. Obviously she's evil, and she's now she's even more chaotic because the only thing tethering her to any kind of real world thing is dead. Cyril's dead.
Yeah.
So she's just fully unhinged, but still behind this veneer of empirical propriety, which is super funny.
Yeah. But
and so,
she just as a compliment to Denise.
Yeah.
She you can see it in her eyes.
Oh, 100%.
You can really see when she's going past the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. She's doing it. It's
so good.
the thing is, it's like her performance is not general. Like, I would not classify her performance as subtle in general because she is very buttoned up and she makes this face all the time, but she still finds a way to like push
there are subtleties
the little subtle things beyond, so that even in her performance, which in that moment was heightened, you still see an extra thing on top.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great.
So they're having a very veiled, not veiled conversation. Yeah. They're talking about all the like antiquities that Luthen has, and she's like, I have something for you. Like, will you like tell me if you think it's real or whatever? And it's like that bomb that he and Cassian set off on Ferrix in season 1.
It wasn't a bomb. It was the the Imperial Starpath unit.
But didn't it explode something? Or they exploded it just to get away?
It just was destroyed in the...
They exploded something in order to get away.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
But they left that.
Okay.
Like, that was left in the...
I was like, there was definitely an explosion. If I remember one thing, it's that there was a huge explosion. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's that, little MacGuffin-y thing that they had in the very beginning of season 1.
Yep.
And that's when he's like, well, shit. And so then they drop the pretense, and she's like, I've been looking for you for so long, and she's getting very cocky, and he calls her out on it too. And she tells him that he says, I want freedom, and she says, you don't want freedom, you want chaos. And I was like, only you would think it's chaos. Like,
yeah,
it's not chaos. He does want freedom. She says, you want chaos for everyone except for you. And I'm like, that sounds like some freaking nonsense propaganda to me. So yeah, and that's when she sort of starts to lose it a little. Yeah. And she's like, I'm going to take you in, blah, blah. Oh, he calls her confident but terrified, which is so true, because we also find out she is acting sort of outside of her, like, allowed purview.
Yeah. Because
she waited for, what's his name? Hirt. She waited for Supervisor Hirt to have the day off before she went and did this, because Axis is his project now.
Yeah.
But she just like simply can't let all of this go. And I think it's even worse now that Cyril's dead. Mm-hmm. And so, and then I just like, she just doesn't assume he's going to try to kill himself.
I don't know. Like he said, and you just said, like, they're very cocky. They have kind of like made that point throughout the season. That they're like, they think they're too big to fail, like they're not even through the season, but through the series. They even mentioned this in season 1.
Yeah.
So she maybe not even was looking that far. She probably thought she was gonna like waltz in there and take him, and then she sees, like, she kind of sees out of the corner of her eye, just smoke billowing, and
Well, that's only after he's stabbed himself, isn't it?
No, it's the other way around. No, she sees that first, and he kind of makes his way away, and then she looks back and is like what, like, has then faced away from her,
right?
And she's like, what are you doing, whatever, face me. And he just kind of goes down. He full on stabbed himself somewhere. They didn't really show.
In the midsection somewhere.
It could have been in the neck. It could have been
I feel like somewhere. It would have been more blood in the neck,
probably. I feel like he could have got the job done better if he just, like, went for the neck, if he was like really committed to the cause.
It's really hard to stab yourself.
I think so too.
I don't want to do it. Yeah. So I feel like it would be a real mental hurdle to get over.
He didn't like slit his wrists.
No, he definitely
he
got himself.
Stabbed something. He probably tried to go through here, like into his heart or something.
So she basically
chaos ensues.
A little bit of chaos ensues. It's like very controlled chaos.
But it's like busy. Like,
they get a med unit on him and take him to the hospital. And then there's like basically an imperial.
Yeah.
An imperial forensic team in the building going over everything, trying to like get the comms unit back up or whatever. And we see Kleya seeing all of this. She goes back to the safe house, where then we start having flashbacks of she, I guess, was like a stowaway from a planet that for some reason Luthen was decimating with a bunch of other people. Was he in the Empire?
No, I think they very specifically did not have any like Empire imagery on him. I think this was potentially like maybe like Empire adjacent.
Sure.
No, it wasn't pre-Empire, because the next scene we see them in wasn't like that much later.
Yeah.
And there's like full on stormtroopers like running through town.
So yeah, she was like a stowaway, and he decided to keeper. He was also feeling very conflicted about the battle because that's where the title comes from. He was just like in the ship going, make it stop, make it stop.
It didn't really even sound like a battle. It was sounded mostly like they just like they knew they were going to go in there and massacre like people. It was very like ambiguous about like, were they in the right? Were they in the right? It sounds like probably they were in the wrong, at least in Luthen's eyes, but you don't know who's who at that stage.
Yeah. So he gets Kleya, and then they are just sort of like a little father-daughter gang, sort of trying to like fleece people in the Outer Rim, maybe with antiques, maybe. Yeah. And so then they do end up she watches stormtroopers murder as like a firing squad round of people.
Someone said that, I guess it was the person that they were trying to sell something to, said that they lost, the Empire lost one of their men to a sniper, and they keep finding people who did it, which I thought was a fun bit of like, they just like keep being like, well, these people now.
Yeah.
So
and then there was a little froggy man.
Yeah.
Who also couldn't, well, Kleya straight up watched the murder, but the little froggy man tilted his head down. Just love that. There's also, we were in so many real places again today. Oh, God, so good.
Yeah, really great. Real places and or like very good sets.
Yeah. And so then we skip forward a little bit again, and they are on what I assume is Naboo.
It looked Naboo-ish.
Yeah.
They didn't go out of their way to like say that it was Naboo, but like some of the rooftops in the background fit the bill.
And there was like it looked like Italy because there was also like a big lake and everything.
Yeah, that really that long bridge.
And the bridge. And so they are presumably there on some kind of mission because Kleya is kind of bloodthirsty. She's like, when are we going to do something, bitch? Like, it's really funny.
And Luthen's like, how about right now?
And so they basically blow up the bridge while they're like sitting there having lunch.
Yeah,
he's like coaching her through how to like do these things.
Well, yeah, he keeps being like, it was a lot like that scene in The Professional when she's like, I want to clean. And he's like, there, go clean. And she just like shoots a bunch of guns, shoots the gun out the window a bunch of times. He like puts the button in front of her and, you know, she's hesitant and she's a little indignant about it to him. But then she does reach for it and he like then takes it and does it himself. He also like makes her look at him first and then react to it and not stare at it and watch it happen. And just so that there's like a little bit of...
It also, for clarity, was a bridge full of stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They
didn't just blow up a bridge. It was like, there was like heavy artillery and stormtroopers and stuff out there. And they like, it looked like they blew up some vehicles to me. Like it looked like they had
tanks kind of or something.
They did not like blow up the structure of the bridge, though they probably did do damage to it.
Right. So that is basically the end of the past stuff, but it is intercut with Kleya infiltrating the hospital to try to find Luthen. And I at first thought she was going to try to get him out, but as it kept going, I was like, oh no, she's definitely
that was
going
my thinking at first as well.
Let him die. Yeah. So it's like pretty good because Dedra is up there and she's very like being really indignant. It's like whenever on a medical show, there's like someone's done a crime, but they're in like critical condition, and the doctors are like, no, you can't talk to him. Like he's in critical condition. And the cops are like, I need a statement. And Dedra's very like, when can he talk? Like really crazy eyes. And the doctor is like, oh, never. Like the room is keeping him alive. Like there's nothing there. And so the floor is locked down and everything, but then Supervisor Hirt and an ISB official and one other guy come and arrest her basically for going outside her purview, like we talked about, because they also, Supervisor Legret and Partagaz have been made aware of like what she's done and that it went badly and that they're likely not going to actually get the information that they need. And so, she's in big fat trouble, which is like the first time she's actually been in big fat trouble. So I really appreciated that. And so then Kleya is able to finish infiltrating with the help of a very strange looking alien grandma, apparently.
It was really fun.
And she gets all the way up there. She wastes a couple of stormtroopers and a couple of soldiers that are wearing what looked like a stormtrooper bottom, but no helmet. I don't know why they're even pretending to wear armor.
Yeah, they just
like,
drop like flies and it's like one bullet from this little pistol. or like blaster, one blaster bolt from this little pistol, and they go down.
But they are just like, she didn't even get him anywhere. Like the last one before she gets in the room, she didn't even get him anywhere like super dangerous. It was like just in the side, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, maybe the armor's for like, I don't know, like melee situations. Someone tries to stab him. Or...
I don't think it's gonna work for that. It certainly doesn't work.
There's a lot of open areas
because there's so many hinges that are like soft fabric, and I know it doesn't work against lightsabers.
No, it definitely doesn't work against.
Like, what is it just for?
Well, they're not worried about lightsabers at this.
Well, not right now, but they are eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, she goes in there and she unplugs what I assume is a ventilator that's or something that's pumping his
something like that. They use like Bacta is the thing that they
well that didn't look
kind
like
of solves everything.
Bacta tanks.
No, they showed a guy in a Bacta tank, but they keep saying things in the series like get the Bacta bandage, put the Bacta thing on him. You know,
that was the thing I hated the most about Boba Fett.
He just keeps getting into his fucking Bacta tank and
daily
and getting high or
having like weird flashback delusions.
Yeah, it was really boring.
But yeah, that's basically it. And so presumably then now Kleya is gonna go to Yavin, and then we're gonna all be collected.
Yeah, I appreciated that she like still like did her job.
Yes, 100%.
She didn't even question it. She cried after.
Yeah.
She like went in, unhooked them.
Yeah.
And she like gave no space for her to be caught before she did the thing.
Absolutely.
So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And then she just
because she also the explosion thing. She also set off an explosion in like the elevator bank or like
it was
something.
like a landing bay. So there was like a lot of Imperial like transports. Like the one or like the ambulance that brought Luthen there.
Sure.
But they were all fucking overrun by the Empire at this time. So she just like blew 4 or 5 of them up.
Fantastic. So yeah, so she did that, and that was part of her distraction to get up to where he was.
Yeah.
I also want to say, going back to the scene where Luthen does stab himself, what was actually really, because you're right, Dedra is so cocky, like, and he's right, it's all right. Dedra's so cocky, and the Empire's so cocky. They have no, like, there's not even an inkling that anybody could be onto them or doing anything that would damage what they are, because they're so widespread and they're getting away with all of this stuff. And so what's really fascinating to me is that I think it's also one of those kind of things where, sure, she's been indoctrinated her whole life into this empire, this imperial lifestyle and all of this stuff. And she grew up in the Kinderblock, and then presumably that's just like a direct line to a career when you're done. But what's fascinating to me is that it's all just like a bunch of drones, but they don't actually care about anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they don't care about anything, they can't imagine someone else would care enough about something to literally kill themselves in order to further the cause.
Yeah.
And I love when shows do stuff like that, because it's just so clear. Like, we obviously know who's right. We know the rebels are right. We know the Empire are Nazis. Like, the 1-to-1 comparison is like it's been out of George Lucas's mouth that they are Nazis and Viet Cong, or the rebels are the Viet Cong and America is the Empire, like all that kind of stuff. So that's just something that I find so interesting, because like, we definitely know it, but it's like every time they do something that's even kind of small like that, where it's like, it just would have simply never crossed her mind that he could care enough about what he's been doing to care less about his life than the continuation of what he's built this whole time. And you can see how much it takes her by surprise and how much it shocks her. And it's just, I love stuff like that. It's so fascinating. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, it was really good. It just was like very focused on them. It wasn't even really focused on Dedra. She's like, she is the initiator because she goes after Luthen, but then it's like strictly.
Yeah. It's just like sort of the emotional payoff of their relationship. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I did not feel like duped or like it was forced by them waiting till now to show us their background.
No, this is like, I mean, this feels really like the type of thing where like this is always the way that Luthen was going to die. You know, it's like it was always going to be this way. It was always going to be now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, it's like what he says to Andor in the Previously On. So in the last episode, he's like, they're going to hang us both.
Yeah.
Like we signed our death warrant when we decided to do this.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's either wait for them to do it or do it myself and keep them from getting
get
information.
Something, get something going. But yeah, I also like, I wouldn't have wanted their backstory at any other time. Like,
no, exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't want it sprinkled in.
Yeah.
And it was like, it would have just been like one more thing that we're trying to keep track of. And, you know, we can just like let Luthen and Kleya be these interesting characters. And like they brought Kleya up like from where she started and kind of brought her more and more into like the main fold without their backstory needing to take up time on these already kind of longish episodes.
Like,
but she was
she's
great.
Really great. She's a cool character. That's one thing that I do really like about the Star Wars shows, even the ones that like are not as good, is almost every single one of them has had at least one really, really interesting female character.
Sure.
It's something that I think like the modern stuff has really tried to correct from, you know.
Yeah.
There's only so much you could really think about in the 70s. Like, you know, a bunch of dudes making this movie. Of course, there's going to be one girl and she's a princess, you know. But I like that as we've gotten more female characters. And that's really, it's helpful for me for sure, because it's like I could watch a dude, you know, sci-fi movie all day. It's fine. And I can relate to those characters, but it's always nice having like a woman to connect with as well. And this has so many, like even if I don't love how like Bix's story ended up, it's like I like Bix, she's around. I like Mon Mothma, I like Kleya. I think Dedra is like an extremely fascinating character. And I even have kind of a soft spot for Mon Mothma's daughter. So it's like there's so many. And I love that Force healer. I want her back.
We had the Force healer, Cinta and
Vel. Yeah, so many. It's just really, it's really, really good. So, yeah, I dug it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see.
I'm excited for the culmination.
Yeah, I'm ready to go to Yavin and see.
Yeah, I suspect the last 2 episodes will be Yavin only.
Yavin forward.
Mostly.
Probably.
Yeah. All right, well, we will finish this up tomorrow. Yeah. Bye.
Might be Friday by the time you see all of these episodes. We'll see.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the office. Multiple days a week.
Yeah.
For a whole ass work day.
Yeah. Boo.
For no reason.
For no reason at all.
Okay, bye.
Bye.